Hey, it's Barry.
Hey, it is Nate.
It's Brian.
And welcome back to the Collecti-Bros podcast. This is a also sort of special episode where we're going to talk about the year 2022 of the podcast and review. We didn't actually record or post until about May, so we don't have a full 12 months worth of episodes to talk about, but we are going to talk about our episodes in 2022 and review, maybe what we want to do in the future, what we're looking forward to, but talking about what we've done. But first, just very, very, very briefly, what have you been playing? What have you bought? Brian, you go.
We actually had an awesome haul recently.
Your last of 2022 purchases and play titles.
Yeah, man. As far as pickups, had some good hauls and some games I've been looking for also. But stumbled upon a lot of a lot of Ultraman Fighting Evolution games. They're Japanese exclusives. It's Ultraman Fighting Evolution 1 on the PlayStation. I'm a huge kaiju monster fan. So this is a game I've been looking for. I've never thought I would just see it in person, since it is an import. It was like super cheap. It was like $12. It's got everything, including the bookmarks, all that. Ultraman Fighting Evolution 2 on PS2, Fighting Evolution 3, and then Fighting Evolution Rebirth. And they were all pretty reasonably priced. Rebirth's actually a pretty expensive game. It's about $50-$60, and that one I paid full price for. But to find all these in the same spot, pretty awesome. Pretty stoked about that. But another PS2 game I've been looking for forever, and actually every time I come over here, Barry, I look at your shelf and drool over it and pull it out. I'm like, damn, I can't find this. Maximo versus the Army Zen.
Oh, you finally got Maximo?
Finally found a clean-ass copy of it, so I snagged that.
Still looking for one.
And then another fun pickup for me was a fairly expensive Wii game, Fishing Resort.
No, I've been looking for that one.
Found
Fuck,
a
did you find it on
copy.
Monday?
Yeah.
Fuck, I should have went with you. God.
Found a super clean copy of that.
Damn it.
Reasonably priced, about $20 off, so I picked that up. Yeah.
That's the only fishing game I actually want.
Yeah, no, it's pretty sick.
Just sniped it out from under you. Glad you got it, though.
Yeah, I picked up some other shit. Real Fishing on the Wii, Crayola Scoot on the Xbox because it's been delisted. So the only way to get this game is physically. But yeah, good little haul. And as far as playing, a bunch of server closure games, so I haven't really had the chance to play games I want to play. Been working a lot of overtime, so I haven't played a ton. Been playing Fortnite. The new season of Fortnite's really good. They added the Doomslayer, and they're going to add Geralt, so that's awesome. I feel like we've been playing something. I've played a little bit of Warzone 2. I've been catching up since I was working tremendously for a month.
I smell a full collection coming my way.
Yeah, I need to start Final Fantasy Remake, or else Barry gets my whole collection if y'all remember that. So I'll be starting that soon. Probably tonight if I can stay awake.
Well, let's see. This will come out January 2nd.
Nice.
So by January 2nd.
So next episode we record, I'll probably be like, yeah, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. If not, you're going to have a bigger collection full of shit you don't want. Except for fishing it.
I'll sell it back to you.
Yeah. Nate, what have you been playing? Pickups?
As far as pickups, server closers, so nothing too exciting. Some FIFA games. Shockingly, FIFA 18 and 19 on 360 are very expensive. It's kind of weird. The biggest pickup I got, Barry scooped out for me the Mass Effect Collector's Edition. It's very cool. It's very reasonably priced, so I'm happy to add that to my collection finally. And Brian spotted me on Monday. We went game hunting together. We were looking for crappy server shut closers, but he stumbled upon the Ultraman lot, and he picked me up Superhero Ratsuden, which is a Kamen Rider Dreamcast game. Japan only. It's kind of like chibi, super deformed style, but I saw OG Kamen Rider on it. I was like, I have to have this. Please spot me $10 for this. And he did, so it's about $30 off, so it's a great pickup. As far as what I've been playing, I've been pretty addicted to Vampire Survivors on Xbox. It's honestly in the running for Game of the Year for me personally. It's a lot of fun. I've been cleaning up server closures. I'm playing 2K21 currently. It's a game. I like playing 2K. I don't really play my career. I play 5-on-5 normally. I like traditional basketball, so it's kind of knocked the achievements out before they shut the servers down. But for fun, it's been Vampire Survivors pretty heavy. It's a great game. And I'm actually restarted playing Morrowind recently, so pretty deep into that as well. How about you, Barry?
I'm going to keep it brief. I got the Ys 8 PS5 Collector's Edition to replace my PS4 version. I've got the Taiko Drum Master on Switch, which I can't play for very long because if I look away from the screen, everything just
Scrolls
to the right, and it makes me feel like I'm hungover.
I remember that from the Guitar Hero days, man.
Yeah. Guilty Gear Strive, picked up a copy, and then Final Fantasy Crisis Core, Final Fantasy Reunion came out, so I picked that up. So that's what I've been playing.
Hopefully I'll be playing that next time we record. I really want to play that, 'cause I never played the original.
That and Final Fantasy 14.
No way.
Crafting.
Crafters are max level now.
Oh, nice.
Got that house, though.
I did.
We'll have to have an MTV Crib style episode.
No. Okay, on that note, is there anything you guys want to pick up this year? Like, for 2023, what's the one big item that you would want to pick up?
As far as like new releases, I've pretty much stayed ahead.
No,
For your collection.
just one thing. One thing that you're like, I'm going to buy this year.
Top Target.
Nate, you go first. Let's see, you already know.
I already know mine. So, I have always liked Phantasy Star. After playing the first one, I'm like, I really need to own the rest of them. So, like, Phantasy Star 2, 3, and 4. Like, I don't really care what order I get them in, but
It's your 2023 goal?
the very, very top of my target list, getting the rest of these Phantasy Star games.
Sweet.
Spider-Man for 64. Complete in box. It's probably at number 1 for me right now. So as far as like my gaming collecting habits, I have a lot of the things that I want, but the way I like realize I want something, it's like pure envy. I see somebody else has it, I'm like, I want that. Or, this year, like playing Chrono Trigger, I would really like a copy of Chrono Trigger. Don't think I'm going to get one by the end of the year, but I have been eyeballing, because I have every other port for the game, Spider-Man from Neversoft 2000. I'd like to get that on the 64. It's the only version I don't have, so I'd like to get a copy of that complete in the box. Don't see it very often. I think there's only like 1 or 2, maybe 3 on eBay, and I don't really buy games on eBay. I like the hunt part of that's something that drives me as a collector. Like stumbling onto that Maximo was awesome, or these Ultraman games. It's all about the adrenaline rush for me, and think Spider-Man's probably at the top of my list for 64. What about you, Barry?
Trying to do a quick look.
Yeah, you're good.
Because I don't really have, like...
That's how I am.
How close are you to finishing your Final Fantasy run? Because I know
of all the Final Fantasy games I want,
out, didn't you? Like the NTSC ones, you pretty much knocked out, right?
I mean, if I'm looking at my wish list, the only thing I have listed that I need is Final Fantasy Legends 3, which isn't actually Final Fantasy. So I think I'm set. I mean, the only game that I like really, really am looking forward to is the Final Fantasy 16. It's coming out this year, so I'm getting that. But I think I'm done. I think I've got everything. I mean, there might be like little itty bitty stuff here and there. Maybe if the new 7 remake, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. Is it Reunion? Or is Reunion just called Crisis Core?
Crisis Core Reunion. It's Reunion.
Yeah, but is it Final Fantasy 7 Reunion and then Crisis Core as a subtext? I don't know. They've messed it up.
Yeah, they have. They've changed the ending.
So, I don't know. Games, I'm trying to be a little bit more frugal also. I'm trying to not spend as much money. Because I do just kind of buy shit constantly. Not just games, but other stuff too. So I'm trying to buy a little bit less and kind of only purchase the things I'm really looking forward to. I think the big one, I think Final Fantasy 16 Collector's Edition just murked me. So
the thing's beautiful though.
No, Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2 is not called Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I think it's called Final Fantasy 7 Reunion.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the Crisis Core, my bad.
And I think, so like, you know how Crisis Core came out originally? It was Final Fantasy 7. It was called Crisis Core Final Fantasy 7. I think that is tying into Reunion.
Gotcha.
I think Reunion's called the second.
Interesting.
Part 2's Reunion.
You know what? They got a list. I'm just going to look it up.
Interesting.
They announced it at the 25th.
When's that supposed to come out?
When they're done.
Dude, I don't...
Saying that the first one was supposed to come out on PS3.
Well, here... the thing, though, is like Final Fantasy 7 Remake, they had to build from the ground up.
Right.
Everything they had to build. So the second one can piggyback on a lot of those assets already.
That's true.
So it's not going to be too bad. But in my opinion, I think it's going to be open world. Based on the trailer that we already saw, they had a navigation bar up top. Like, that's just going to be open world. So who knows what that's going to be like.
PS7.
They're already developing Part 3.
Nice.
Where's the titles?
Making it a 3-parter?
Okay, so now I'm wrong. So Final Fantasy Reunion is specific to Crisis Core. Rebirth is the second one.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell they're going to call the third one.
Watch this.
Rebirth of the Reunion. What's another? Returnal? What's another R?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of how it would end, but I don't know how it would end anymore.
Who knows at this point? Yeah.
Revival?
Oh.
Maybe?
Oh.
Anyways. What were we even talking about?
Stuff
Being
we're looking
frugal?
forward to
Okay,
collect.
shit, okay. I don't know. There's not really anything else that I'm, like, dying for. I really want a copy of Valkyrie Profile. I just don't want to spend the money for it, to be honest. Like, the bubble's kind of shrinking a little bit in terms of how much stuff is worth. So maybe it's not going to be $400 or $500. Maybe it will be because Elysium didn't do that hot. But I do want that one. That's really... I guess if I had to say one, like, Valkyrie Profile might be a good one. Can't think of anything else.
Don't see it a whole lot complete.
No, there's one locally and they want $450 for it and it doesn't have a book and I said no.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
So, what new games are coming out this year?
Allegedly Dragon Age 4.
Okay, how about this?
This year, really?
Alright, so 2023 games that have been announced are supposed to be coming out this year. What are you guys looking forward to?
I'll see it when I believe it, but allegedly Dragon Age 4 is coming out this year.
I have yet to see another trailer on that. I've yet to hear anything about that. Everybody thought we were going to get something in the Game Awards for that or Mass Effect, and we didn't.
I am cautiously optimistic. I actually really enjoyed Inquisition. I did too. I think this game will be good when it actually does come out. It's been through production hell. It's like third director, fourth director. BioWare is in a state of chaos. I still have faith in that property, though. If it does come out this year, that's my number one most anticipated, hands down.
This year? Ooh, this year. You got a list?
I got a list.
I'm trying to think of what I've heard of.
I need that mental
lot
I don't care about Starfield.
I'm so ready for Starfield.
It looks cool, but I don't care.
I love Bethesda games. I think it's going to be great.
Space and Bethesda, I'm totally there day one.
Yeah.
I think other than, like, Final Fantasy 16 is like a no fucking brainer. But if we're talking about something else, Wild Hearts,
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I don't know who's developing that. Koei Tecmo or whatever.
What's that?
It's supposed to be, it's like a Monster Hunter clone.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking
But it's got like the little turrets and stuff you can build and whatnot, and it's a
trying to
3-man
think
instead
the
of
name
a
of it.
4. And that shit looks sick.
What about that? Is that Capcom game with the dinosaurs? Is that next year?
Dino Crisis, it's not Dino
Yeah,
Crisis?
yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
Neither
They
do
haven't
I.
heard anything about that one.
Same.
That was last year's Game Awards,
EA is
wasn't it?
making Wild Hearts.
No, they're publishing it.
Oh, it's Koei Tecmo.
Okay.
Exoprimal? No.
Yeah,
There
Exoprimal,
is?
that's
Okay,
it.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
Ooh. They just showed it at the Game Awards, but Armored Core.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
About time.
Yeah.
I'm super
I like Armored
excited for
Core.
that one.
There's a couple other games I'm looking for. Stalker 2. I'm getting pretty hyped for that.
If that actually does come out, that'd be
That's
awesome.
the thing. I give them some slack, though. Their studio's literally in
Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ukraine. So I get the delay on that one. But Stalker series is great. I'm pretty excited for that one. Big Diablo guy, so Diablo 4 I think is going to... I have high hopes for Diablo 4, even with the changes.
Dude, okay.
Hang in there, buddy.
I
Yeah.
think Diablo 3 turned out great by the time all things are said and done. Initially, pretty rocky, but I think it's a super solid game now, where it stands.
Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm for the Switch. I'm vibrating just thinking about it. There's a theme here if you haven't caught on.
There's a lot of remakes, but one I am looking forward to because I think they've done a really good job with the other ones, Resident Evil 4, and the fact that they're focusing on the, quote, next-gen
Is
consoles.
that the one with Leon Kennedy?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know anything about Resident Evil, so.
The other remakes have been super solid.
I thought that came out.
Nope.
4 is not. 2 did with Leon.
And
Okay.
3. That, and then the Dead Space remake looks amazing also. I think that looks awesome. Like, just visually.
If we actually get System Shock 2 this year, that'll be on my list too, but I
Supposed
just
to.
don't
So
believe that
System
game's
Shock,
ever going to come out.
the
at this
remake's
point.
supposed to come out.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know if this got announced for this year, but that Hellboy game.
Yeah,
Yes.
that looks sick.
The Hellboy game looks so good.
Yeah.
Super
looks so
excited about
dope.
that one. I think a lot of people are excited about Hades too. Don't know if that's coming out this year or not. There's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that have confirmed dates. I mean, Fire Emblem is coming out in January. We'll be playing that. But some of the stuff where it's like, oh, we've seen a trailer. I don't
Right, who knows?
know when it's going to come
Everything
out.
gets delayed too. Just the times. Atomic Heart, I think, looks really good. Looks interesting. Might have some Bioshock elements in there.
Rumor is that the next expansion for Final Fantasy XIV is going to come out in holiday. I don't know.
It's gonna drop it.
Well, so the way it functions is an expansion comes out. So like Endwalker was 7.0.
Right.
Or no, excuse me. Sorry, 6.0. I'm just thinking ahead too far. 6.0, and then in between 6.0 and 7.0, they do post patches. So it always goes 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, 6.4, 6.5, and then drop. So we're supposed to be getting 6.3 in January. And they always do like in between. So there'll be like a 6.55 like right before, or they'll do little ones in between. But based on the schedule, people are saying, and the new expansion is supposed to be holiday.
Nice.
We'll see about that.
This time next year.
Spider-Man 2 is supposed to come out in 2023.
Spider-Man 2?
For, Sony's like Spider-Man.
Insomniac Spider-Man.
I haven't heard anything about that one either.
And they showed a trailer.
Wolverine coming out this year.
I was about to say I haven't heard anything about Wolverine either.
It's been silent. A lot of these, that's the thing. We don't have like a real E3 anymore.
Who's doing Wolverine? Naughty Dog?
I think it's Insomniac again.
That was Insomniac. So.
Why did I think Naughty Dog?
Single player.
It'd be awesome for it.
So they could do something besides Last of Us.
Please do something except Last of Us. Please, please, please,
They'll do a remake of 2.
please. I swear to
They
God.
will. Watch.
And then remake the remaster.
Please, stop. Let it die.
It's Insomniac.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the thing. A lot of these games I'm trying to think of, I cannot think of ones that are like hard point confirmed for 2023.
Yeah. It's just stuff that got announced. There's plenty, but I don't know if it's going to actually release.
Okay, so maybe just most anticipated, regardless if it has an announcement date.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 16. I'm just going to keep saying it.
Yeah. Spider-Man's up there for me.
Dragon Age 4, and for a backup, I'll do Starfield.
I just don't have an interest.
Space.
It's going to be buggy as shit the first day it comes out.
It's Bethesda, baby.
Probably not going to play it when it comes out initially in my
make
backlog.
Yeah, that's
It'll be
fair,
great by
yeah.
the time I get to
Yeah.
It'll
it.
be 5 years from now and you finally started it.
Yeah.
I just want it out so we can start full production on Elder Scrolls 6. Give us what we want, Todd.
Fallout New Vegas 2, please.
You'd rather have that than Elder Scrolls 6?
Me personally, yeah.
There's a lot of people that feel the same way, actually.
Let Obsidian do it. Like Microsoft owns them
Depends
both
on
now.
what you
Why
do
not?
with...
Does Microsoft own Obsidian now?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, they're working on Outer Worlds too. What are you
That's
talking
great. Outer Worlds is the closest thing we've gotten to Fallout New Vegas as far as like the tone.
about? You know, which is crazy because I actually liked Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds is very
like
fun.
New Vegas.
No, don't like anything in Fallout.
I love the aesthetic of Fallout.
That's what I hate.
So Barry hates about it.
Like I can't sit here and say the story is bad and all that stuff, but like, dude,
And I think
I
the
just
story
can't.
for New Vegas is awesome. Like it's better
it's-
than just like,
it's
oh, you're in
brown
this vault forever.
and brown and brown and brown.
No, that's the thing.
And
It feels
and
dated
brown.
now. Yeah, that's true.
Darker brown and lighter brown and
A little bit of green in there.
dead brown.
The cities look nice with the lights and stuff, but other
black,
than that, yeah,
brown.
I get that knock. I do. Especially
And you know
for,
what
like, I
Fallout
love
3 was?
Gray.
Green.
Gray. Lots of gray.
Green,
Lots
gray,
of gray,
green, washed out green.
I get the knock, but I love the series. I love like the writing, the characters, the world. But I get that knock. I do.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Does anybody...
Do you guys think they're gonna do an Elden Ring DLC?
I think it comes
This
out
year?
soon, doesn't it? Yeah.
Did they confirm
It
it?
already come out maybe this week. I think so. The co-op shit.
What?
No, like an actual
Like
expansion.
an expansion.
Yeah.
Do they normally for their games? None of
I
us
don't
here are
know.
really huge, like, Soulsborne.
I told a friend I would give it a shot because I found out it's co-op,
I didn't know it was co-op.
like actual co-op. I thought it was like, oh, someone will come in for like a minute and help you, but apparently you just have to summon them into your game. The only problem is if you do that, that opens up other people to come in to invade or whatever, but
Yeah.
they told me basically you can just have a friend come play with you, even outside of boss fights. So I
Huh.
said, all right, maybe I'll walk the walk and try this game.
I want to
I
play
hated
it.
Bloodborne, and apparently that's not the one to start with, even though everything says it's the one to start. Are you guys okay? So you guys haven't really played them too much.
I played the first Dark Souls. That's my only experience with
Every
these.
time I see anything about Soulsborne, it's like, what's the one to get you started? And they always tell me fucking Bloodborne.
I always see Dark Souls 3.
You see Dark Souls 3?
Yeah, because like the kind of the most polished and balanced, I would say. I started avoid 2 like the plague 'cause it's a shit game. I hear start with Dark Souls 3.
What have you heard?
I've heard Bloodborne's even harder than like...
Because I'm talking about
the
like
weird one.
Neo and Sekiro
Right,
too.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say. So Neo's from Soft, or I'm sorry, Sekiro's from Soft, right?
Yes.
Software.
Yeah.
have the game, dabbled in it, got my ass kicked, but I loved it.
Apparently
It
it's
was
hard.
so smooth, it's buttery. And the only Dark Souls I've played with a little bit, it was 360 Dark Souls. It wasn't super buttery, and I was like, okay, this is all right. And then I've played Demon Souls, played it on PS5 and PS3. I think the aesthetics are great. It's just not my cup of tea for a game. I could see why people would get stuck in the loop and liking it. But Neo I loved.
For some
I
reason,
love Neo, and I got spanked.
See, Neo's like
for
advanced.
some
though.
reason, everyone says start with Bloodborne, and I said okay.
That one seems hardcore.
I said okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with Bloodborne, and 3 hours is what I gave that game. I couldn't get to the first
As
boss.
far
It
as
was so
starting-
slow. Apparently, Bloodborne's combat is one of the fastest.
Really?
I said, "Are you fucking kidding me right now? The combat was so slow,
That seems right. You can
exceptionally slow."
The first one I ever played was Neo, and it's not even, from software.
It's
So
Team
it's just,
Ninja, which I heard Neo
Dope.
was trash.
Bro, it's dope.
Oh, Neo's
Awesome.
good.
I got spanked and I loved it. It's so fast and like the combat's very
I heard
nuanced.
Sekiro was faster.
And that Sekiro is very smooth and fast also, yeah. But Neo is cool because like you can pick a main primary stance and get better with the other weapons. But like the blocking, it's high, mid, and low, so it's super technical. So like when you do win a battle, you feel like, oh, I did this. Like this is great.
Instead of just dodging.
Right. And there is leveling and stuff. It's cool. It's samurais. Like I love, like that era. So
I don't know. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna try.
Demons.
I'm gonna try and play one of these because I don't know what Armored Core is gonna be like.
yeah, I'm curious.
Not
if
like
they
a Souls
change it.
game, right?
I don't know.
mech
And
game.
make it
Here's the
like it.
difference,
They haven't made a
though, is
different
it's
game
from
in years.
software. They have a formula, and they know
Right.
what the formula sells.
I'm scared
like
it's gonna
Steel
be.
Battalion.
I'm scared it's gonna be Soulsborne with mechs.
The guy who made
want it to be.
the guy who made Armored Core started the Armored Core 6, and he handed it off.
Right.
It's not gonna be like what Armored Core used to be.
That's what worries me.
So I'm trying to like familiarize myself with it before I just go in expecting it to be something like I really want to like Armored Core.
Yeah.
I just can't like From Software puts out games I'm not interested in,
Yeah.
and I'm trying.
Anybody have anything that they're like, itching to play in their back catalog that's been sitting there for years that's like a goal to play this year? Because my first, like I'll go first. Witcher 3 finally got the next gen upgrade. I bought this game multiple times, trying to play it, never got around to it. Like my goal, I don't give a shit what happens. I'm playing Witcher 3 this year. Like New Year's resolution, play Witcher 3. Finally have like, I'm out of excuses. Like they ain't gonna put a new version out. This is the last one. This
Yeah.
Finally it. Like I'm playing this game this year. I love it. I already know I will. Played both the other ones. Like it's time.
I mean, I'm gonna try Elden Ring, but I've been sitting here waiting for Brian's copy of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. So
Say I can get you the PlayStation version, or the 360 version.
I'm gonna play the one that's gonna get me interested in the most.
Limited run games. You know what? Send me that in 2023, please, because I've had it pre-ordered since February of 2022.
All right, that's
They
what I'm
still
waiting
haven't
on.
shipped it.
I told you guys I'd play it.
I can just give you my PlayStation. I got it installed in there. I've got this version digitally, is what I'm saying.
It's not the same though, is it?
I hear you. No, it's the same version. Yeah, it's
On
Requiem.
PlayStation?
Yeah, PS4. Or you can borrow my PS5, whatever.
I'm not.
But you know how much easier it is to be like, here's the disc, Barry.
Exactly.
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 Come on, limited run games.
They say a ship quarter.
They sent email about production and they're like, hey, sorry, the sword that it comes with taking a while to.
The sword.
Yeah.
So they're pausing everything for the
It's
sword.
like a pen-sized sword.
Do you know how long I had to wait for my Knights of the Old Republic Collector's Edition or Republic
See if I can
Commando
find this.
Collector's Edition, and everybody else got the normal copies?
Yep.
Really?
That's what it is. The normal one's already out, I believe, for that.
For Requiem, I don't think there is a normal one.
I thought you ordered the normal one.
Hell no.
Just the game.
Hell no. It's Castlevania. You know how I do it. Let's see if I can find this. Order update. Here we go. Production update. Wanted to send you a quick update about the status, blah, 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 blah. Let you know that is supposed to be delayed until Q1 2023.
Okay, quarter one's not bad. That's January, February, March.
It's literally a year after I pre-ordered it, but yeah, there's the sword.
It's limited run though. How big is the sword?
I think
is it
this
a letter
like
opener?
pen-sized, yeah, and it comes with the shield. Like it's a cool collector's edition, so
Okay.
I'm anxiously awaiting this thing. And then they have like the dust jacket cover and stuff, and the soundtrack. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Worth it for the soundtrack
And you get
alone.
Rondo with it. It's a great one to play this year.
So I list Elden Ring and Castlevania. Like, hey,
One of my
I'm
favorites
stepping
of-
outside of my comfort zone here. I ain't just gonna talk shit no more. I'll play it and then I'll talk shit.
There you go.
And then maybe you'll hear me one day and I'll come on this podcast as a changed man and talk about how great this game is. I don't know. We're gonna find out.
I think you'll like Castlevania.
I was talking about Elden Ring.
Oh, I don't know. But yeah, I'm actually a game I picked up recently that I haven't got a chance to play because I've been at work every day of my life. Midnight Suns, really, really want to play that. It's made from the XCOM developers. It's a strategy game. As far as like RPGs type of stuff goes, I prefer the strategy realm. And it's got Marvel characters. Like, it's up my alley. This looks awesome. It looks great. I really want to play that. It's been sitting on my shelf for about a month now. So I think once I get some free time and maybe these server closers stop closing. As far as is it worth it games, we played a lot of different games, a lot of different types. I got to experience a lot of games that I normally wouldn't play. It's something I appreciate about doing this podcast. A lot of RPGs that, I'm not huge on, but love 2 of them that we played. What are some of you guys' favorite Is It Worth It games that we got to play this year, or ones that kind of blew your expectations away?
Are you going to list what they were?
Yeah, I can do that. I should do that since we just talked about that.
That's literally what I said.
It's the drinks. We started out with Jack Bros was our first one. Rule of Rose was number 2. Chrono Trigger, number 3. Godzilla PS4 for number 4. Number 5 was Die Hard Arcade. Number 6 was Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. 7 was Teen Titans. Number 8 was Phantasy Star. Those are the games we did for Is It Worth It this year.
And Shadow of the Colossus wrapped it up.
Oh, that's right.
It really just dropped last week.
That's right.
2 weeks ago, I'm sorry.
That's right.
As of today, when you're
past.
hearing this, it came out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. But yeah, and you guys have any kind of standout picks where it was like, hey, this game blew me away or exceeded my expectations or anything like that?
Do you have thoughts already, Nate?
Yeah.
Okay, you go first because I don't.
So I'll go first. The one game, Hype Machine, hear how great Chrono Trigger was. It somehow exceeded the hype for me. It's kind of the obvious pick on here, but I love turn-based RPGs. It's one I hadn't really dabbled in. It's ridiculously high bar, greatest game ever made, blah, blah, blah. And it lived up to the hype and then further exceeded it for me. It's a dream game for me to own someday at this point after experiencing it.
I think that's the game of the list. The best game of all of them we played.
Not my favorite, but the best. But
I mean, I know what your favorite was, but like if we're talking in terms of like what the best individual game was, that's probably it.
I think it's going to run away. I think it's probably most people.
Yeah. I mean, there's...
The word masterpiece gets used a lot, but it's truly a masterpiece. And
I mean, people want to take like greatest RPGs ever made or whatever, and Chrono Trigger is always in the top 1 or in the top 2.
Rightfully so.
And it's nice to play the game and also agree.
Yeah, especially when it's so high of a bar. Like, okay, it can't be that good, and you're like, holy shit, it really was.
Right.
And I was thinking about it after. This was a fairly early episode for us, and I'm still thinking about that game far into the year. Like, damn, it's a great game.
I mean, the thing with that game, I'm not huge in the turn-based RPGs at all, and I was like, damn, this is a good game. Like you're saying, just the combat, the characters, not a real flaw at all that I can think of about this game. Like, that one blew me away. I think that's the easiest pick for sure. But I'm going to go with another RPG, Phantasy Star. Like, did not expect to enjoy that as much as I did. I was worried because it's an older RPG, but I absolutely loved every minute of it. It took me a while to get going in the beginning because of the grind, but I really enjoyed that game. The characters, just almost the simplicity of it kind of helps a little bit in a weird way. But yeah, it definitely blew me away, exceeded my expectations for sure.
What was your most disappointing?
You want to go?
You want to tell us your favorite?
Oh, I mean,
Chrono Trigger.
Talking about Chrono Trigger. I mean, it's Chrono Trigger. Like Right. I picked Chrono Trigger for a reason. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie and say it was something else.
Yeah,
really glad you did though. Like, it's one of those games where I've always like told myself I'm gonna play someday, but like getting here together doing this podcast like forced me to play it. So like eternally grateful for that because damn, what a game!
Seriously, that's part of the fun of this podcast is we all get to experience games that we normally wouldn't play.
I don't want to sit here and toot my own horn. But
you did good.
It's Chrono Trigger.
You did good.
And then there's this other topic where
most disappointing.
This one might be unanimous too.
Yeah, I think I picked this one.
Yeah, obviously Rule of Rose is the most disappointing game I think across the board.
Yeah.
At least you guys don't own it. I have to look at it every day.
You don't have to.
I have to think about watching that whole playthrough.
You don't.
True,
have
you don't
to.
have.
Every time I sit in my chair, I think of like
you don't have
a
to.
violin. I can't help it. It haunts me. Like an airship.
You could sell it.
I could. I thought about it.
If you do, let me know.
I will let you know. I'm not going to sell it, though. The only reason why I'm not going to sell it is I bought off Barry. Literally the only reason why I'm not going to sell it. If I found it at the store, I would totally sell it. It's a piece of shit.
I have no. I have no sentimental attachment to that. I don't care what you do with it. I don't have a story behind it other than getting it.
If I
for too expensive.
have it already and I played it for this episode, I would not even try to pursue it unless it was literally the last PS2 game I needed.
Unless you're a set collector, I guess.
Yeah,
that's the thing for me. Like, it's not fun. I don't want it because it's fun. I want it because it's a PS2 exclusive.
Keeping it real.
Yeah. It's not a great game. Like, disappointing. The gameplay,
yeah, that's the thing.
Story. Even I heard it was like this great horror masterpiece. Shit's not scary. There's some weird, disturbing shit in it, but it's not scary.
I had pretty high expectations for that game, and I knew going in before you guys really like the technical limitations of it, and I still had like higher than what it actually did.
I mean, well, sometimes people put scary and horror hand in hand, and that's not what the horror genre is for the most part. Like, it's
that type of horror where
dude, but it can't be horror if I'm laughing at it.
Right.
That's the problem. I'm laughing at it too much. I'm not being like, well, that is legitimately disturbing and creepy.
My thing is, like, we had a Virtual Boy game on this list, and we all chose a PS2 game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's a very good point.
No, the sprite work was getting that. Sprite work was great in Jack Bros.
Yeah. I fucks with Jack Bros.
My eyeballs can't, but...
Yeah, I think probably when I'm looking at my collection going forward, probably the most disappointing thing I own be Rule Rose. Hands down.
How do you feel about Haunting Ground? Are you afraid to play that one?
I'm a little less excited to pick it someday for an episode because I don't. It's got a dog in it, and it's not being.
Rule Rose did too.
It's not getting strung upside down when you meet him.
How do you know?
I know. Yeah, I'm a little more worried about it. Capcom made that one though, so I'm hoping for a little more quality. It's a little bigger budget. But yeah, I am a little worried about that one going in. Honestly, after experiencing Rule Rose, we'll see. I'm not picking it this year. I'll tell you that right now. Like, maybe in a couple.
Speaking of, name me 3 games that you are considering for doing for a Worth It episode this year. Not that you've decided, but 3 games that you're considering maybe throwing in the mix.
So being completely selfish, there's a couple games I've always wanted to play and haven't got around to, and a great motivator for me forcing to play a game is picking it for this podcast. Top of the list is a game that's been recommended by Barry for years. Kind of inspired by the Shadow of Colossus episode, we're focusing on a collector's edition. Horizon Zero Dawn. I have the collector's edition for that. It's fairly expensive.
That thing is pretty expensive. Yeah, I was about to sit here and be like, bro, it's like a $15 game. And then you said the collector's edition. I said, oh.
And it's a beautiful collector's edition.
Actually, you know what? Is the price down? Is the price less
down from what it was, but it's still over $200.
Okay.
So
people got pretty disappointed by the second game.
So it's just an excuse kind of to like maybe play this game finally. And it looks like everything I'd want in a video game, so I don't honestly have an answer why I haven't played it yet. I really don't have an excuse. That one's pretty high up there. There's a Castlevania game I haven't played yet. It's pretty expensive as well. Legacy of Darkness for Nintendo 64. It's just on 64, and I know Castlevania 64 is not super great.
I've actually played it.
And I've thought it, though, because the game just keeps going up. It's kind of crazy how much it keeps going up. It is way more than what I paid for at this point. Then the last Moon is a franchise I have no experience with. Is Harvest Moon 64 is one I've been dabbling on for a while. I have no experience with the Harvest Moon franchise. I know people love the 64 game. It's more of a length thing why I haven't gone ahead and chose it yet, but I remember thinking I overpaid when I picked it up, which is hilarious because it's almost triple what I paid for it now at this point. So 3 games I haven't played that I want to play. Kind of selfish motivations, but definitely on the radar for my picks this year.
What about you, Brian?
Yeah, I've got a couple. You know me, I like to pick weird games. Yeah, I like picking weird, different kind of games, just off-the-wall things that you're not going to just see every internet article or every other podcast or every YouTube about. So picking something for a Game Boy I think would be fun. I know you've got something in the pipe on Game Boy, but I think Metal Gear would be a fun one because we're all familiar with the PlayStation version.
Metal Gear for Game Boy?
Game Boy Color.
I thought that was extremely expensive.
It is.
Do you have one?
I do.
Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah. So I think that'd be a fun one, something weird like that.
How much does that game run for?
Like $107.
For a cart?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
It's one I'd love to own someday. I kicking myself for turning down a cart for $65 a couple years ago.
Now, is the Game Boy one the same one as the NES?
No, it's like
solid.
It's solid.
It's like its own.
But it's like top down like the NES.
Okay.
It's interesting. I've played. I haven't like beaten it, but I put like maybe 2 hours into it.
We had a childhood friend who had a copy, and I played it, and it's actually like a very good game.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
interesting game.
Okay.
So I think that'd be a fun one to do. I haven't hammer that down yet.
Truth be told, the only Metal Gear game I've played is Metal Gear Solid, so I'd be interested to see how it plays
the GOAT.
Game Boy.
Playing the GOAT. And then I like doing just weird, shitty games, like I think something fun, or fun-y, rather, like the Chester Cheeto on Genesis, or maybe the 7-Up Dot Guy for Genesis.
How much are those?
Chester Cheeto complete in box is $70.
Chester Cheeto.
Yep. Too cool to fool. So something funny.
You know
like
what,
that.
Brian? Sometimes you test my limits.
It's not the guy game.
Yeah.
I'd say, or the other guy game.
Yeah, truth be told, Brian had picked a guy game, and I said I had to veto.
Look, you
couldn't
can
do
get
it.
a complete copy of the guy game on Xbox or a complete copy of Chester Cheeto for the same price.
No.
So maybe we'll do something
For
fun
the
with
record,
Chester
we
Cheeto.
can't review guy game for
No.
this right now.
I'll torture y'all to play that piece of shit. I had
Maybe
to play
in the
it. You guys have
future-
to feel my pain.
Maybe you sickos on TikTok will beg us for the guy game, I guess, but
I will trade you my PS2 copy if you have an Xbox One. That being said, as much as I hate to throw that out there.
I don't have one and I don't want one.
Good for you, Barry.
I didn't want one either. I just have a disease
wish I
where I have to
didn't.
have every Xbox game. I have it on PS2 also. That's besides the point. The price was right, all right? And then I think this is kind of like just fun. I'd like to find like a strategy game or an RPG game that Barry hasn't played or doesn't have a lot of familiarity with.
That is a lot of them, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
You know how many of them are out there?
yeah, I hear you,
There's
but
a lot.
just to be like, oh, like this is a series I'm familiar with, like Mega Man X Command.
Is it an RPG?
Yeah, it's a strategy, more strategy. But
Well, I don't-
or Battle Network, I think would be fun.
I
just
don't.
because you
I
haven't
know
played
Battle
them.
Network.
Yeah.
I don't put Mega Man hand in hand with RPGs. So
Right. Well, that's the thing. There's so many spin-off games, but something like that would be fun.
Announce like a remaster collection for Battle Network.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I'm
the
all over
Switch.
that one.
Oh, I had a PET as a kid. I had the black and purple one
Nice.
with the fucking chips, battle chips.
Yeah, I think finding something that you haven't played. You gave us the gift of Chrono Trigger to try to return that somewhat would be fun.
Yeah, I'm pleased not with guy game.
No,
Fucking Chester
I said
Cheeto.
a good game.
Do some XCOM.
Chester Cheeto would be funny. Come on. Or like Cadillacs and Dinosaurs on something funny. What about you, Barry?
Just sitting here thinking about almost having to play a guy game.
Also, I really want to do a TurboGrafx game because I love the console, and any chance I can get to talk about it, I want to gush over it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because console, I really enjoy what I've dabbled in, but I don't have a whole lot of experience with it. I only own a few titles for it.
Croods?
Make you play that shit too.
Swear to God.
I want to play it for Nick Cage.
All right, so I have a problem with everything that I want to play as like a third or fourth in a series, and I can't make you guys play the first two. Like, I so badly want to pick Xenosaga 3.
I'd love to play those games though. Like I've wanted to play those.
I want to pick Xenosaga 3 for an episode, but you have to play 1 and 2, and they are so fucking long.
They look so cool though.
They're so long. Like, honestly, transparency's sake, like we said for games, we have to put at least 10 hours into them before we talk about them for the episode. And like, we're pretty busy. Sometimes we can't get to 10 hours. The next one we try to do this so far in advance that we get time to actually spend on them, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. So like this next game I've got right now, I put 25 hours in. Like, I'm going to have to pass it off at some point. And I'm maybe 2/3 of the way done.
That's why I picked the game I picked, because I try to find something
So
we can squeeze in.
I can't reasonably say Xenosaga 3, because a game like that, not only does it take a copious amount of hours for it itself, but you can't understand that game unless you've played the previous two, and even that you need to play Xenogears.
It's like 200. Really?
Yeah.
Shit. It's
So
like 200 hours, right?
It's more than that, probably.
Holy shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it was Xenosaga 2 or Xenosaga 3, they included on some of them a DVD of all of the cutscenes from the previous game, and it was like 8 hours of just cutscenes. So I so badly want to do that one.
Intimidating, man.
I really want to do that one, but I just can't like ask you guys to play the first two. It's impossible.
I finished we didn't, well, technically, like Godzilla, we didn't finish because it's so like.
I didn't finish Chrono
greedy.
Trigger either.
I had to go back on Chrono Trigger. I didn't finish that one, but other than that, I didn't want to play Rule Rose, but I watched a full playthrough because I like refused to play the damn game because I hated it so much. But other than that, I think we finished most games this year.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I don't think there's one I didn't finish.
I mean,
I had like 10 minutes left on Teen Titans.
look, you really can't count finishing Die Hard Arcade versus
It's a full
Xenosaga
playthrough.
3.
Oh, I finished
No,
y'all.
I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying as far as like not completing games. I feel like I made a conceded effort to like try to complete these games this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one is like on my top, but I
That's
just I
tough.
can't.
I'd love to play that series. Like,
I
it
can't.
looks so cool.
Even Xenosaga, or not Xenosaga, even Xenogears is just so fucking long.
You gotta pick it like your last episode of the year, so we have a whole year and no excuses.
I know, right?
Yep.
But the thing is like I also have to play it too.
Right.
Ooh.
And then we only have one copy. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure you guys don't own that one. You guys don't own any of the
What's on the
Xenogears.
Wii? What's the one on the
Maybe
Wii?
the first one.
I have the one on the Wii. What's on the Wii?
What do you mean the one on the Wii?
Is there a
Xenoblade Chronicles?
Yeah. Is that
I mean,
the
they're
same
not
shit?
expensive.
I have the Wii one.
It's not expensive.
The GameStop exclusive destroyed. That
Garbage.
bullshit,
There's no
yeah.
reason to play that one anymore.
That's the only
Interesting
Xeno
story.
game I know.
Interesting story behind it, but
Fell victim to that fiasco.
I mean, if you want to talk about the Xenoblade Chronicles special editions, it's different. But that one I wouldn't pick for. Is it worth it?
Well, then
The answer is
have
no.
One copy.
The answer is no for that one. There's no reason to play that game anymore when it's on Switch and
Say it's on
definitive
Switch,
with the
isn't it?
DLC
Yeah.
included, and it looks so fantastic.
It's on
The Wii one, I'm
3DS.
I'm probably gonna sell my Wii one. I don't care. I mean, the fact that it runs on a 3DS is incredible,
Yeah.
but it looks like shit. So like, why am I gonna subject myself to that? I'm not.
You can take it on the go.
So can I on the Switch?
Exactly.
But realistically, I have to say, I Blood Will Tell has always been on the one that I'm
I
considering.
want to play that.
I want to play that so bad.
Blood Will Tell is up there. Ogre Battle 64 is up there. I got a couple actually. Vanguard Bandits,
I've always wanted to play that game too.
Steambot Chronicles, and then God Hand were the ones that I've
Yes.
kind of
God
been
Hand,
considering for a long time. Those 5. So I don't really know which one I'm leaning towards.
You have a heavy advocate for God Hand for me.
I
Throwing it
feel
out
like
there.
Don't
I
play
feel
that
like I
shit.
have to do Blood Will Tell though. You know. I feel like I have to. I'm pretty sure that one is still in the top 5 most expensive PS2 games.
So that's what's weird. I'm staying away from like my top games, minus Jack Bros. Obviously was the first one. I like doing this weird middle ground kind of stuff just because it's more obtainable. I think.
I mean, at the same time though, like if
But I do
people
want to rip out some bangers.
if people
yeah.
do listen to this and want a copy of Blood Will Tell, and it's going to save them $300-$400 after they hear other people didn't like it and don't think it's worth it, or I don't know if that's
Yeah.
true or not, but
Please see our Rule of Rose
$125 an hour
episode.
for that game.
huh?
Like $125 an hour for that game. So
Maybe
it's
120
only like a 4-hour
hours.
game.
I don't know how long it is.
I'm sure it's pretty short. I think.
a good
I mean,
point,
how
though,
long
Barry.
was Jack Bros?
Right.
Quickie.
It's
Fucking
extremely expensive.
$300 a minute.
That's crazy.
So I think there's a good mix of price points is important. Like some people might see Chrono Trigger as not being worth $800 to them when they can just go buy a digital version. Like that's completely fair too. But also like for me, it's really hard to pick $20 games.
Right.
It's really hard for me to justify why a game wouldn't be worth $20.
Yeah.
So those aren't even on my radar. I'm like $100 minimum. So that's usually what I look at. Anything under that's usually pretty.
Yeah, there's a couple
Reasonable.
we picked going in that were like over $100 and they dipped by the time the episode would come out, but I still try to keep it around that range. I feel like, yeah.
Like I feel like new games coming out now are $70, so people can eat $70 pretty easily. People usually can't eat $70 on some older stuff
Yeah.
for good reason sometimes, but like I feel like once they hit 100, like especially in our demographic, 100 is the one where you're like, okay, I gotta ask some questions.
Consoles you can buy for $100.
Yeah,
Like,
so
you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
that's usually why I don't really have too much more expensive than Chrono Trigger because I don't.
You guys have anything in
But-
each other's collections that you're like, damn, you should really pick that one? Because looking at your shelf, Barry, Mr. Mosquito, I want to play that game so
Dude,
bad.
I want to play Mr. Mosquito so fucking bad, and it is kind of expensive. So
That and Larry Boy.
Larry Boy's not going on. I'm sorry to tell you.
What about the one with the little car, plunger car for Game Boy Advance,
Right.
Walmart exclusive?
The what? No, that one's not even. It's
said
not
that
even
for
close to
collection.
I don't
$100.
remember how much it cost. I thought it was around 70.
It wasn't that expensive.
I don't even remember.
You would have just asked that. She doesn't have that one, does she?
No,
No, but if we need to
it's
buy
the Game
it.
Boy Advance
Know
one
what
with
to
the
get you
pack in
for
with the
Christmas
car.
next year.
I don't think it was that expensive, was it?
I thought it was like over $100. I might be
Oh,
wrong.
I don't think it was that much.
I'll have to eBay it.
That was too much. I know that.
I think someone put that shit up and nobody's bought
Hoping.
it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I really, really, really want to say Steel Battalion.
Yeah, that's true. Steel Battalion. would be a
Like
good one
Steel
for your
Battalion,
collection game.
man. I want one so bad.
Well, I would like to play that game again, so maybe we'll do that.
But Steel
one.
Battalion is such a special case because it requires a proprietary controller that is extremely large. There's variations on it. I mean, I already like Steel Battalion, so maybe that's just a spoiler, but...
I want to break it out again. Brian's never experienced that. That's the one maybe I'll pick. Because
Let me see your guys' list real quick. Do you want to swap them? You guys can see it. Do you want to swap around based on
Look at your
price?
shelf.
Here, we'll just rotate. I'll rotate them. Give
Let me
Nate.
see yours, Nate.
I'm still looking for this fucking Larry
I can
boy.
use Barry's shelf.
Fucking Larry boy.
Can't find it. It must have sold.
But I think Steel
Why the
Battalion's
fuck is this
a really good one for me.
Castlevania worth so much?
Oh, that's the one with the light up box
What
and
the
everything.
fuck?
It's still sealed, probably is why. The
no,
PS2 one's crazy.
complete in box says $500.
Which one? Dracula X.
Castlevania Anniversary Collection
Oh yeah.
Ultimate.
No, yeah.
It's a
What
beautiful
the
set.
It's a limited run game. But yeah, the PS4 copy is really expensive. Like,
Tell me that shit's more than Bubble Bobble Loose?
right? It's crazy.
So I answered Barry's already. Mr. Mosquito, like I don't give a fuck. It's not the most expensive. It's one I've always like been.
Right.
I remember looking at the ad in GamePro and being like, I need to play this game. I need to get a PS2. So it's one I've like wanted to play my whole life.
You have a Samurai Western?
Yeah, apparently.
I want to play that shit.
It's not fun.
Spoiler.
Spoiler, it's not fun.
What the fuck? Return to Castle Wolfenstein on PC is worth $115.
The Mac version.
No, I'm talking about Return.
Oh, like the second Wolfenstein game is
Yeah.
sealed.
Oh, okay. Gunstar Superheroes, Nate. That'd be a fun one.
I'm really trying here.
No, you're good. There's not a lot that probably is up your alley. You might have to venture out to a different genre.
I know. Holy shit, why is Jet Grind Radio on a Game Boy Advance so expensive?
Hard to find.
I hate you for that one, Brian.
What?
That'd be a good one. I think that'd be a really interesting one. I mean, I'm a big fan of like ports and like trying to make things to work on things they shouldn't. So the game's great too on Game Boy Advance. So fun.
I gotta say
Why
this-
is Super Mario RPG so expensive?
Complete in box.
All right, here's the thing. I want to know what the hype is about Mega Man X3.
Yeah.
I want to know why that game is worth over $1,000.
Good
I
question.
played it.
That's mine. That's mine for Brian. I want to know Mega Man X3.
It's my most
where's your
expensive
list?
game at the time. It's up to what past Jack Bros for fuck's sake. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
What is it about Mega Man X3? Because I used to have the first
It's
four,
one of the last.
all complete in box.
One of
Remember that?
last
'Cause I
SNES
almost
games.
bought him. I was like,
Yeah.
go ahead and sell him.
I've played it.
Now I'm kicking myself.
I'll probably pick it someday because it is my most valuable game. But
My initial pick for Nate, we're already doing it, so whatever. I feel like Steel Battalion's a cop out though.
Not really.
nah, man.
It's kind of like it's so low on the list, but it's not because it's not ever valued right because they can't figure out what complete in box is versus.
I have one off your list, Barry. Thanks to one that we've already done. I want to play Radiant Dawn.
You want to play Radiant Dawn?
Yeah.
Fire Emblem?
Yep.
Okay.
Because I really enjoyed the last one quite a bit.
If I had like a runner up to a game that surprised you, it would probably be the Fire Emblem game that we played. I really enjoyed it. I thought I would like it. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. Plus, it's like a game that I own that I haven't really dabbled in, so it's kind of really fun to break it out and actually play it finally after all these years. Don't have a whole lot of experience on GameCube, so it's fun to crack that out.
To run it back, I want to play Fossil Fighters.
I don't know what I did to that, but
Shout out to games we've talked about in this podcast. I want to play that shit.
your guys' lists are hard for me to pick from because you just have such a different flavor.
Right.
I have I just see Castlevania, Metroid, and I'm like, I have no desire. But you know what? Maybe I should play Super Metroid.
I love Super Metroid to death.
Apparently, the one on the Switch doesn't feel right. I don't know.
I like it a lot.
I think you'd be miserable playing Super Metroid, if I'm being honest.
I don't think it's
Tried
up
it.
your alley.
I tried it.
Brooding. The game by design is brooding, and it's a side scroller, so it's already got that working against it for you.
I'll put it to you like this. Super Metroid existed so the Castlevania Symphony of the Night could run. That Symphony of the Night is like a Metroidvania. I'm sure you've heard the term thrown around. Super Metroid feels primitive compared to Symphony of the Night because it's got like RPG elements and everything in it. Metroid doesn't. You have to
Alright.
go find your collectibles. It's a great game.
What about the deviation from Metroid and Prime, which everyone loves?
Prime's a first-person shooter,
That's what I'm saying.
but it feels like a Metroid game's a thing.
I like the game. I feel like the most impressive thing about it's like, holy shit, this is running on GameCube.
Because, it's not super expensive by any means.
No, the Steelbook
Steelbook
for Wii is
Trilogy,
fairly
yeah.
expensive.
Not even anymore. I used to have it. I got rid of it.
Still over $100 now.
Spawn on Game Boy, Barry.
Spawn on Game Boy.
I want to play that shit.
Last I checked, Metroid Steelbook Trilogy went down
It's still pretty
to
expensive.
like $60, dude.
Oh no, it's at least 100. Let me pull up I've got it somewhere. I don't think it's towards the top though.
120.
I say I think one locally had one for 130.
Bet you it was that new one that bumped up that price then.
It was,
Because
totally.
I got rid of mine when whatnot before it even got announced. Dread? Is that what it was?
Yeah, which is great. It feels like Samus Returns, but
I was wrong then.
Console. Yeah.
I'm shocked that game has actually gone up that high.
That's how collecting go. Highs and lows.
So we got Steel Battalion, Metroid X3, Mr. Mosquito.
I do want to play Bubble Bobble too, though.
Bubble Bobble?
Love the series. I got that cart, and I've never played it. Been too scared to throw it in my NES. Actually, no, I threw it in once to see if it turned on. I'm like, okay, it works, cool. Put it back in the... It's a beautiful copy. I had to crack it open to make sure it was genuine.
All right, for selfish reasons outside of price, what game would you want to play in order to get the other two to play it?
From our own collections?
Yeah.
Do I have to say one for Brian still or not?
I mean, while you're thinking about it.
I've got it already.
Oh.
What is it?
So it's just another pure selfish. It's a collector's edition. I think it's very cool that I passed up, unfortunately, when it came out. I've never played a God of War game. So the Stonemason edition.
You never played God of War?
Any of them.
All right, look, don't even play the old ones.
No, I'll play them.
Don't.
They look up my alley.
No.
You'd like
Dude,
them, Nate.
it's rough.
He'd like them, though.
They haven't aged.
Yeah, but
they got
I'm
some
2000s.
Edge, bro.
There's no reason to go back and play those when you've got the new ones.
New one's
I mean, I guess if you want to know where Kratos came from, but you can just read a synopsis, they're just not good.
It's at the point where it's like it's a
Three
huge
holds up.
Sony property that I've never played. That like I have them all. I have no excuse not to. But I think the Stonemason collector's edition is like exquisite. So I'd like to go over that one someday with you, Brian. But
It's a really nice collector's edition, too. There's tons of stuff in that thing.
Yo, y'all remember when God of War Ascension came out?
I remember when Brian came home
got
pissed.
2 copies of that shit.
Like garbage collector's edition.
Let's say this. I was like, what? This is the
It was
statue?
the worst quality I've ever felt.
Yeah. Then the game's
Your
not
question was
For selfish purposes, regardless of price, what would you want to play to make the other two play it?
I think we already talked about it a little bit, but I think Castlevania and Symphony of the Night's definitely on there. You've already played it, but for Barry specifically.
Yeah, I have not.
And you know me, I just like picking stupid, weird shit.
So I don't know about you guys. I'm pretty big into fighting games. I'm not great at them, but I enjoy them. And there's one I grew up on specifically that for the original Xbox PS2 era. Def Jam Fight for New York. It's a fantastic game. A franchise I wish would bring back. So selfishly picking. I know Brian dabbled with it. I don't think he played as much as I did growing up, but
I have no desire to play that game.
Banger.
I think you could look past of what it is and appreciate the actual gameplay.
Okay.
That's probably my pick because it's a great game that people talk about now and like, damn, whatever happened to it? EA is what happened to it, if you all are wondering.
Get some friends together and play that game is a absolute blast.
I mean, my pick is Witcher.
Yeah.
You both have never played Witcher.
3.
I've fucked around with Witcher 3, but never actually sat down and played it.
Like the other two are unplayable in comparison.
Damn.
That's all I'm saying.
I enjoyed 2 when I played it new. I said earlier, it's my goal this year. I need to play Witcher 3 and beat Witcher 3. I'm out of excuses. It's time.
I'm trying to think of really something that both of you have never played. Problem growing up with a twin, we've played a lot of the same shit.
It's easy for me to find stuff that like, damn, you have that I want to play.
I'd actually have either of you played the Ys Origin?
No, and I really want to.
Ys, or the Ys Chronicle books 1 and 2 on the PSP are excellent to get started in. They're really, really good. So I think you would probably like Origin more based on its battle system. But I mean, like, Ys uses like a bump combat. So I guess if I had to pick one that neither of you have played that probably don't intend to, because I know you want to play Witcher, but Ys Origin.
Yeah. Ys is like a franchise I've always wanted to jump in, but it's very intimidating when there's that many games across that many platforms, and they've done a good job of like rejuvenating some of the older titles, and
yeah, basically everything that was on a cart has been completely remade,
which is awesome.
And every single one is considered really good. So they're the suggested way to play them now. And then Origin came out as like a bonus. It's supposed to happen like before the first one is set. It's a really good game. It basically gives you 3 times. It's like you have to play it at least 3 times to get the full story. So I think I murdered that game in like 2 days. The first playthrough was long because I didn't know what I was doing, but the next 2 I was like, I know what I'm doing. I flew through it in 2 days. I was like, this game is really good.
I'm really trying to sit here and find a game that I know both of you have never played. It's tough. Y'all won't make me play the guy game with y'all.
Brian, you don't even want to play the guy game.
I want you to suffer my pain. That's what friends do. Moving on.
Is it a pass?
I mean, there's a bunch of stupid shit. I like to try to make myself laugh, and I like to make myself laugh and try to make y'all laugh. So, like, Minnesota Fats has hit me pretty good right now. The $200 Genesis pool game.
Dude, I don't want to laugh, though. I don't want to ironically laugh. I want to play a good game.
It's generally regarded as one of the best pool games ever made. Like, it's supposed to be, even modern, like, it's supposed to be a great game.
Or are you dying to play pool?
What are you talking about? I got a sweet pool game on my phone. It's an app. It's called Pool.
It's not called Minnesota Fats, though. On the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, I know Barry. There's a lot for Barry. Like, I think there's old school Castlevania games that you could get into, like 4. I think you'd enjoy 4 for what it is. It might not be your cup of tea, but you'd be like, hey, I can appreciate this thing's running on a Super Nintendo. Stuff like that.
I think it's fair.
Because I can get shittier.
We know.
All right, Nate, what do you have for the next category, speaking of, so we can move on from Brian's horrible suggestions of Guy Game and Minnesota Fats?
About Night Trap on the 3DO.
My God. Anybody have any specific consoles that feel like they didn't get to get represented with our picks this year that you're like want to kind of focus on next year? Because we did a good job of like not repeating consoles. It was a conscious effort.
Handhelds?
Yeah, I'm
Handhelds.
with that. I think there's a lot of great gems, and we all have a decent handheld collection. The systems Barry's kind of heavier on the software side than most of us for them, especially the modern handhelds, if you will. But I think for personally, I know a lot of people love the system. We don't have the greatest collections for them. I actually have a top-heavy collection for it, but I know the N64 has come up a lot, surprisingly. It's not one I would go off the top of my head and say I love the system. But
all right, look, hot take, there's not a lot of good games on the 64.
There's
Not hot at all.
This is the reason why I own one.
Yeah.
And I have no intention of owning any more.
I've looked into a pretty decent N64 collection for a console I don't have a whole lot of attachment to, but there's some heavy hitters on there that I've wanted to play that I never got to. And there is one specifically that we'll be doing this year, but I heard a couple different games that were on Ogre Battle 64, Harvest Moon 64. It's kind of Spider-Man was another one, so it's surprising that we've all threw out a 64 title. I thought that was interesting. It's just a note.
I mean, it's hard to throw out multiple when I only own one, and I don't really care
There's
too much
not a
about
lot
the
of like
system.
great exclusives for it outside of Nintendo's own games. Like,
I think
hot take, I don't love the 64 at all.
64 is heavy in
Boring.
nostalgia. I didn't grow up with it. I grew up with a PlayStation that actually had titles.
Yes.
None of
So
us did, yeah.
I don't care too much about Zelda.
And truthfully,
Zelda
everything I
was
want to play
born.
on the 64, there's better ways to play it now. Like,
Yeah, I
there's
don't-
better ways to play Doom 64. There's better ways to play Perfect Dark. Unless you're going for first-party Nintendo games.
I played what's the Zelda, the not Majora, but the other one.
Ocarina.
Yeah.
Ocarina. I played on a 3DS.
Yeah, there's better ways to play
I'm
these
not
games
gonna play it
now.
on a 64.
Yeah.
No intention to.
I just thought it was interesting that we each had a game maybe for a console that we don't. That's all.
Because it's garbage.
Okay, look at the controller, man.
No, for me,
I have my problems with the 64, and there's not a lot of reasons for me to like it.
right.
I only own one because it's the Pikachu one, and that's the only reason I have it.
I've got 2 or 3, but fuck it. I've got 2 in a box, I think.
Well, that's also because you collect everything, Brian.
Yeah.
That is your
literally the
excuse.
reason why. Yeah, because it's like, oh, I don't have this one. I don't even like it. Console, I think that I want to represent. Like, handhelds is a great answer. Cartridge-based handhelds, I think I said it previously. A Game Boy game would be fun. TurboGrafx 16 for me is a big one. Love the console. I could sit here and bore y'all to death talking about this thing and how it's a superior console to the NES, just not with the software. It's a problem. But there's a lot of really fun games for it. Like how many people you know that have one. I really want to talk about some TurboGrafx 16 games in the future.
I can be with that one too. For sure, I enjoy the TurboGrafx. Everything I experienced on it so far, I've enjoyed.
And I want to dig into Barry's Vita library, bro.
Yeah, as far as handhelds go, I want to hold off on saying 3DS until the shop closes to really see what happens to the library, because there's already some anticipated really highly priced titles. But PSP and Vita, for sure. Didn't they remake Gravity
Rush.
Rush?
Yeah, it's on PlayStation, yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's got a lot. Problem with Vita is it's got a lot of exclusives that are like weird Japanese titles that nobody ever bought. So I have a lot of them.
Yeah, pretty much my rule.
PSP, I've got a lot of them. Top heavy.
pretty much a rule I have video game hunting now. If I find Vita stuff, I call Barry and ask if she has it or not. If she says yes, I go ahead and buy it if she already has it.
Look, I'm sorry, but I did get pretty feral way back in the day.
You were a visionary. What can we say? But
I got feral.
You don't
okay,
see a
I
lot
saw
of it.
Vita, and I just went into full sea red animal in the wild mode.
I went hard on the original PSP for a while. There's a lot of really quality games on there that are exclusives. So yeah, I get it. I wish I would have got a little harder on Vita, honestly, before it went crazy.
And Vita's a beast. It really is a great console. I've loved playing mine. I got it a little later, but you don't see a whole lot of titles. When you do, just pick them up because they're probably worth more than what they're asking for, and they're lower print.
I mean, I got some Vita titles that are pushing 100 now. Problem is they're the 5th one in a series, and I don't really know how much you need to play the other ones. I mean, as far as PSP, like, I've got some pretty top-heavy ones in that, too. I know you own a couple of Personas.
I do.
Actually, there is one, and I would be interested in maybe doing this as a two-parter, but Persona 2, specifically, the PlayStation 1 version is different than the PSP version, and they are both quite expensive.
Yeah.
So I would be interested to see like what that would look like in terms of, is it worth it for the full? Because the PSP one, I think, is the version that Japan got that we never did until the PSP came out. I think it's the first part or the second.
It gets confusing.
Do you remember?
I remember us talking about it before, but
You're talking about. I can't remember.
It's the one they're remaking.
No. They're doing Portable 3.
Portable, yep. Yeah.
Persona 3
P3P.
Portable, they're going to be doing on that, but
Gotcha.
Persona 2 on the PSP is not the same game as the PS1 version.
Right.
They're two different ones. So I'd be curious, I'd be curious to see those and how those stack up as a set, because that is one of the top heavy ones for PSP. It's also a top heavy one for PS1.
yes, it is. My God.
Legend of Heroes is another one that I really want to do, but it's the same deal where it's Legends of Heroes 3, and you've got the first two to play, and they're not short.
They're a little extensive.
Which is a problem that I'm running into on a lot of my titles. Is like, these games are not short by any means, and I can't subject you guys to be playing 2, 3, 4 of them in the front before we get to the one we do. So
Gotta pick some shorties and get ahead.
you know what? We'll do Mr. Mosquito.
Hey, breaking news.
I've been wanting to play that one too for a long time. It looks stupid, but I
That'd be a
really
fun one
want
to
to play
play
it.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch it be like our most disappointing game of 2023.
Swear to God. But yeah, PSP has a lot of titles that people have never heard of. Like Monster Kingdom, Gungnir, Gitaroo Man. I mean, some people have heard of Gitaroo Man before, but like, there's just some of the shit I can't even pronounce. Riviera the Promised Land, which Riviera the Promised Land is pretty cheap on PSP, but the Game Boy Advance one is very expensive. And I think the PSP is a remake of the Game Boy Advance version, which I have the cart. I don't have a box.
Not really familiar with the series.
I tried to play it. It was rough.
Spoiler.
It was rough. Maybe I need to put some more time into it, but
So yeah, I also want to try to get some more original Xbox love in there, just because it's my most beloved console, which we talked about previously. But there's some good exclusives that people don't think of off the top of their head for the original Xbox. Bring some light to those.
Crimson Sea?
Crimson Skies?
Is it Crimson Skies?
Good game.
What's Crimson Sea?
I don't know.
It's a game that was on PS2, Xbox.
Is that
supposedly.
PS2?
I think it was on both.
Crimson Skies is rad, though. I love Crimson Skies.
Not the same. It's just
No, it's not. What am I thinking of? Crimson Sea, the first one.
First one's on Xbox, second one's on PS2.
Yes.
Yeah.
See?
You don't see the first one a lot.
I don't have the first one.
I apparently have
I've been
it.
looking for it.
Oh, yeah, this
have
game.
I guess.
Apparently.
I have the second one.
Yeah.
The first one. I didn't know I
I
had
used to
it.
see the first one everywhere. I don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, if we're going to talk about Xbox, Otogi is one I want to play.
Yeah.
Otogi, and then Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu is awesome.
Arx Fatalis would be a good one, too.
Fatalis is awesome. Yeah.
I'm almost
So-
dabbled picking that one a couple times because I really want to play that game. It's one I've always.
Yeah, there's some low-key heat on the original Xbox that doesn't get enough love. It'd be cool to bring a light to that.
Still Battalion.
Are you Dark Souls fans? Enclave was a thing before Dark Souls. Does anybody have any favorite non-is it worth it episodes or conversations or discussions we had?
I thoroughly enjoyed the PlayStation 1 console episode because it was something that we all three already had like pre-built in love for. So it was kind of cool for us to not have to. I know I've really enjoyed learning new games, being shown stuff, but it was cool we all three had common ground to kind of like build off that episode because it's one of the few we didn't really prepare a whole lot for. We were able to just dive into that one, and it kind of stood out as a unique episode to me. But all three of us enthusiasm was super high throughout that whole one because we were also so excited to talk about our memories and what got us into it and all the franchises. It was just, I don't know, PS1's always going to have special place in all three of our hearts. So I think that episode for me stands out.
I'd like to do more console specific episodes.
Yeah, I agree.
Until we run out of consoles, I guess.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, that was a
We're
fun
going to
one.
be doing a console specific exclusive episode on the whatever that notch
Games.com.
thing is.
The what?
The notch thing.
Oh, the Ouya?
The Ouya.
Be a short one.
Be funny.
What is a game that you guys do not own that you would want to own to do for this podcast?
Like specifically with the podcast in mind, what you're asking?
Yeah. Mine's Panzer Dragoon Saga.
Beat me to it.
Panzer
Good
Dragoon
one.
Saga.
It's supposed to be a fantastic game for a series that I love, for a console that doesn't get enough love. It's kind of got something for everyone in it. Yeah, if we could combine our money maybe and get one for the episode. Like,
I mean, it's one of those games that all I hear about that game is people want it because it's expensive, but I don't know how people really feel about the game.
so I've watched a lot on it, and people said if this was the PS1 game, it would be comparable to Final Fantasy VII, which is high praise, but a lot of people have said this.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be super
Yeah.
ambitious.
But then I'm like, who also played this game?
right, the people that developed it, that's about it.
All right, there's nobody that actually played the game.
Not a whole lot.
So
They're over $2,000 now, right?
we might have to
Jesus.
emulate it.
It's a game I would love to own someday.
I would love to own a Steam Deck so I can.
There's a lot of things ahead of it just for the monetary reasons, but it's
It is an expensive game that I have a hard time justifying, and that's one game that like I would love to be able to play to see.
if you can find one. God, I've never even seen one in person.
Say the first one for me that stuck
It's
out
gone down.
instantly was Outrun Coast to Coast for original Xbox, just because it's one of the last like bangers I don't have, and it's literally one that like I'm gonna have to pay for to get. So I think it would be the most like, there's no preconceived notions going in. It's like, did I waste my money buying this? I think that it's like live. It'd be interesting.
You can get a Panzer Dragoon Saga for around $1,200 now. Might fuck around and do it someday. I've got a lot of duplicate consoles, big box variants and shit. I could probably fuck around and get a copy. It's honestly tempting.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, but do I need 5 PS1s in a box?
No, you don't.
Get rid of one of these Super 64.
You have 5 PS1s in a box, but not a single stripes Panzer Dragoon Saga.
Correct.
Yeah.
It really puts a lot in perspective.
Holy shit! There's a $2,000 Beethoven game on Game Boy.
What?
I'm staying away from
Beethoven
it.
the dog.
I'm going to say that's not one of my picks. Is Beethoven the dog.
I can tell you that's not worth $2,000 right now.
I mean, I suppose like Gotcha Force. I don't have a Gotcha Force, and I'm super curious on like what that game is all about to be that expensive. So, truth be told, I had the chance to get one without a book for $400, and I said no. And now I'm kind of like, did I make a mistake?
What's this game called?
I think Spider-Man Web of Fire also, even though I know it's not supposed to be very good. But again, huge Spider-Man fan. That's one that's eluded me. Could have bought one a couple of years ago for $800. Didn't do it. Kind of kicked myself in the ass now. It's up to like $1,400.
Shit.
I think for me, Dragon Force on the Sega Saturn's one I've kind of been eyeballing, and like I didn't pull the trigger on it, and then selfish reasons like, hey, you could do it for a podcast episode, like justify me purchasing it. They have a copy of 2 at a local shop, but it's unplayable because I don't read Japanese very well, so
I mean, language patches do exist.
yeah, I don't know if there is one for that one. If there is, it's something I want to play the first one
probably
first.
is, yeah.
Maybe it's just big enough, or maybe, but kind of obscure games.
Especially with those CD-based games, I believe all you have to do is throw them in your computer and a CD reader and then have a patch.
Sega Saturn's super easy to like get into now, thanks to 2022 being awesome.
There not being a language translation patch for that would be shocking. So,
this game I've always wanted to play.
Yeah.
It looks so damn cool. So many characters on the screen at once.
Yeah, as far as our year in review, what we thought was the best game we played and what games we picked up, what disappointing titles were, best off episodes, but also looking forward to 2023. I think there's a lot of things in the mix that we could be doing. If there's anything you guys would like to see that we would do, whether it be suggestions for an Is It Worth It, we can all rummage around and see if we own a copy, or topics you want to hear about, just let us know. On our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, as long as Twitter survives, and I'll keep saying that until it dies, because it's looking more dead and dead now, since old Elon Musk stopped paying office space rent, but okay. So, what's in the next episode, Brian? No, it's Nate.
No.
Nate, what's the next episode we're going to be doing after this?
Next episode, crossover games that you would love to see, genre mashing, franchise crossovers. Pick it. We're going to talk about it. So start thinking, boys. Crossover games that you would love to see.
You mean like an example, Street Fighter cross Tekken?
Correct.
But do like Animal Crossing cross Persona?
Correct.
That's not one of them, to be fair. Just okay.
Correct.
All right.
Let us know if you guys have any suggestions.
Thanks for listening. Check that episode out in 2 weeks. 2 weeks' time. Mashups. Crossovers. The whole shebang. I can see we're all deteriorating very rapidly. Thank you all. Hit us up with some questions. Your hot takes are hot takes that you don't enjoy, which is fine.
Is it hotter than Kingdom Hearts 3 burning in a trash can?
You know what? Kingdom Hearts 3 burning in a trash can, for the record, didn't actually happen, but...
Spoiler.
Still on your shelf.
If I had, it's still on my shelf.
Still backwards.
Still backwards. And if I had an incopious amount of money, I would buy a single copy just so I could burn it out of principle.
You buy a Panzer Dragoon Saga first, though.
Maybe for our 4th of July episode next year, we can just
blow it up.
Rocket it into space.
I'll buy a cheap copy of Kingdom Hearts 3 and blow it up.
You know what? Kingdom Hearts 3 is pretty fucking cheap as it is,
Right.
so like maybe I gotta eat $5
Doesn't have to be a
and $10 more
collector's.
in fireworks and we can shoot it up into space.
Mortar. Bye.
Alright, keep watching until July, until you guys witness us launching a copy of Kingdom Hearts 3 into the stratosphere, or at least as far as commercial fireworks we can buy in a store without an ID can get us. So, stay tuned for that. It's our next special. Maybe I'll launch it out of the trash can, since, you guys got mad I put it in there.
Yeah.
We'll launch it out the trash can.
And we'll give it to y'all if you can find it.
Yeah. I'll put a parachute on it. You'll float back down.
Oh, shit.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
You'll have a good New Year's.
Yes.
Tell us your gaming New Year's resolutions.